The running back position is the most important position in fantasy football, and if you screw it up, your chances of winning it all this year is slim to none. But don't fear, because we have you covered in this video. We're going round by round, talking about the best running backs that you should be drafting. Buckle up. This is going to be a good one. I have a 200 like goal for this video. I think we can do it. Starting in round one, obviously, you can't really miss in round one. Saquon, Bijan. We're going to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs here because I think he could very well be the best player in fantasy football this year. The best player, not just the best running back, the #1 player in fantasy. I'm not really concerned about David Montgomery this year. I just don't think that Detroit at this point can do this 50-50 timeshare thing anymore. Like everything that they've seen from Gibbs, they would be foolish to go back to this, oh, David Montgomery starts the games. He gets a lot of the red zone, the goal line touches. Like, I think Montgomery, under this new coaching staff, new offensive coordinator, is going to see a smaller role this season. Let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, how good he was last year first. He was the RB2 in fantasy, averaging 21.3 fantasy points per game, 302 total touches, nearly 2,000 total yards, league high 20 touchdowns. And this was all with playing 57% of the snaps. And obviously that late season surge from weeks 15 to 18, Montgomery was hurt. Gibbs went crazy. That obviously helped his overall numbers, but what are we just going to throw that away? Like, no, it happened. And if we talk about what it looked like for Gibbs when Montgomery was healthy, we have that data from weeks 1 to 15. Gibbs was still the running back 4, averaging 16 touches, 103 total yards per game, along with 18.9 fantasy points per game. And this was all with Montgomery out-touching Gibbs 25 to 18 inside the 5-yard line. Gibbs didn't even have that goal line roll, and it still didn't matter. So imagine what this year could potentially look like if Jahmyr does see more of that usage, more of those goal line touches. New offensive coordinator, like we talked about, John Morton, has only praised Jahmyr this offseason. He wants to expand his role. He's mentioned that this offense is going to run through Gibbs, and Jahmyr has reportedly been taking more snaps from the slot. He has to learn more routes as a receiver. They're going to throw him the ball a lot more this season. I think he's going to see an uptick in his receiving yards, his receptions, and he's going to get more of those red zone touches. I think Gibbs is on his way to being the next Christian McCaffrey. I think he's that good. I think he should be the second player off the board in fantasy drafts. The first running back, sure, take Jamar Chase, but Gibbs should be next. I think he's going to absolutely explode this year. He's still on a really good Lions offense. There's nothing that we don't like about Gibbs' game. And Montgomery, I mean, Detroit's got to be honest with themselves. I know Dan Campbell loves David Montgomery, but you want to win football games? Play Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, moving on to round 2. This one's a little bit tricky. I've been going back and forth between these two players, and it's driving me insane because they're very similar in my rankings, and that's Bucky Irving and Chase Brown. I think these two are really close, really difficult to decide which way we want to go here. I've been going back and forth, but I'm going to go with the more efficient back last year, and that was Bucky Irving. So he gets the slight edge for me. That doesn't mean I don't like Chase Brown. I love Chase Brown. But if I have to choose between those two guys, Irving gets the edge. He was 3rd in missed tackles forced per attempt last year, 4th in yards after contact per attempt, 7th in explosive run rate. And if you look at some of those advanced metrics for Chase Brown, they're not as good. That has me a little bit concerned about Brown this year. I still do like him overall, but I do like to bet on those efficient players. And we know from week 10 on last year, and Bucky Irving took away that job from Rachaad White. He was the RB6 in fantasy points per game. He finished the year with 1,500 total yards, 5.4 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns, and that was all while only seeing 46% of the snap share on the season. But check this out. In the 7 games where Bucky saw over 50% of the snaps, he averaged 127 total yards per game and scored 6 touchdowns. He's going to have a bigger role this year. The coaching staff has already talked about it. He's far and away the best running back on the roster. Rachaad White, Sean Tucker, nice guys. They're just not Bucky Irving. We know Rachaad White is already injured. We know Liam Cohen is gone. They have a new offensive coordinator in Josh Grizzard, who was promoted within, so he knows Bucky. He helped scheme this offense last year, so it's not like there's an entirely new person coming in from a different team that is going to flip things. I just don't see Bucky Irving's role decreasing. It's only going to increase. He's also a guy that's strong in the receiving game as well. Finished second in catch rate among running backs. Last year, he reeled in 47 receptions for 392 receiving yards on the year. I also consider when drafting, when deciding which running backs to pick, I look at the nature of the offense. I look at the offensive line. I look at the other weapons on the team. Can they move the football? Do they have a good quarterback? Tampa Bay checks all of those boxes. Obviously, it's not ideal that their left tackle in Tristan Wirfs is going to miss the first month of the season, but this is still a good offensive line. Baker Mayfield is a pretty good quarterback at this point, and they have a ton of weapons in the receiving room. So I'm betting on talent, situation, volume that he's going to see, pass down work. I think Irving is a steal at the end of round 2. I have no problem reaching for Irving. I think he's going to be even better this season, which is pretty scary to think about. So I like Chase Brown. I just like Bucky Irving a little bit more. Moving on to round 3, Omarion Hampton, who could be LA's RB1 to start the year, right? With Najee Harris dealing with this eye injury. It seems a little more serious by the day. I know he was doing some things on the practice field, but I'm concerned. Hampton is a perfect fit for this run-heavy LA scheme led by Greg Roman, and Hampton is just a really good running back. Back-to-back seasons of 1,500-plus rushing yards and 15 touchdowns. He's a big, powerful, explosive back. You don't see many backs built like him. 6 feet tall, 222 pounds, and he's got some nice wheels for his size. 4.46, 40-yard dash, elite athleticism, contact balance, and he has that versatility in the receiving game as well. He can get it done through the air. 67 receptions over his final 2 seasons at North Carolina. This is a workhorse back. This is a guy who can take on a massive workload. In his last 2 seasons at North Carolina, he averaged 24 touches per game, 150 yards per game, 1.3 touchdowns per game, and ranked among FBS running backs last year, 2nd in rushing yards, 5th in missed tackles forced per attempt, 97th percentile in yards after contact per attempt. Like, there's nothing bad you can say about Hampton at this point. And since 2010, there have been 22 rookie running backs to hit 16 plus points per game from week 9 on. So we know rookies, especially the running backs and the receivers, really, they get hot towards the end of the year. The reason why I'm so excited about Hampton is because he might have a clear path to get going week 1, week 2, week 3, depending on this whole Najee Harris thing. I've talked about this in previous videos, but if Hampton starts week 1, week 2, and Harris still isn't back and Hampton is playing really well, I just don't see a world where like they turn it back to Najee. They have no allegiance to him. He's on a 1-year veteran minimum deal. They spent a 1st-round pick on Omarion. So if Omarion comes out the gate on fire, he's probably not going to lose that role. And in your home leagues, you probably can get Hampton in round 4 at this point. Rashawn Slater, stud left tackle. They lost for the season. Not ideal, but this is still a pretty good offensive line. And the other running backs in this range, in round 3, Kyron Williams scares me because he's very inefficient. This whole Matthew Stafford injury is getting weirder by the day. Like, if Stafford plays and then gets hurt and misses time, like, this Rams offense is nothing without Stafford. So Kyron, even if Stafford was healthy, still a little weary about Williams overall. And then Breece Hall in this range. Everything I'm seeing from Breece, I was in on him like a week ago, but seeing how he performed in the preseason game and how the other backs did, and just a couple little nuggets that I've read on him, I'm really worried about Breece this year. They're talking about maybe trading him. Like, I don't want to touch Hall either. So Hampton would be my pick here. Let's take a little second here, just a little restart. If you would like to like this video, if you are enjoying it so far, please subscribe, leave a comment, question. I really appreciate it. Nothing like drinking an energy drink at 8 p.m. Not great. All right, moving on to round 4, Chuba Hubbard. We just talked about him in a previous video. He was a surprise breakout at the running back position, RB13 in fantasy points per game. All of his advanced metrics on the ground were really good. He played really well on what was a pretty bad Carolina offense for most of the year, as they ranked 29th in yards per game, 24th in yards per play, 21st in red zone scoring attempts per game. But he saw top 5 usage at the position, 3rd in snap share, 4th in opportunity share, and he saw 88% of Carolina's rush attempts inside the 5-yard line. I don't think the Panthers added major threats to the backfield. I know everyone's getting bent out of shape that Rico Dowdle was on the field for pass down situations. It's a preseason, you guys. It's a preseason. Like, of course, they're not going to have Hubbard play every single spot. It's the preseason. They're seeing what maybe they have in Dowdle. Like, I'm not concerned about that usage. I think Hubbard is going to get a workhorse role. They paid him that way, and the arrow is pointing up for this Carolina offense. Bryce Young has looked great in preseason. We know he closed out last year on fire. Dave Canales, I really like him as a head coach, a play caller. He knows how to develop quarterbacks. He's creative with the plays he calls. He knows how to scheme guys open. And this is a strong offensive line, which is also very important, as they ranked 7th in run blocking last year. In this offense, the weapons outside of Hubbard, they spent an 8th overall pick on wide receiver Ted McMillan. That's going to help this overall nature of this offense. More scoring opportunities for Chuba. I also think he's going to still hold this pass down role. He earned 54 targets last year in the passing game. I think he's going to continue to be that guy on third downs, in 2-minute offense, in passing down situations. They like Hubbard in that spot. He's not a flashy pick, but I truly think he has top 10 upside at the position if this Panthers offense takes the step that we think they're going to take, that I think they're going to take. I think they're going to be a much better unit. I think it's one of the best values that you can get in round 4. You might even be able to get him in round 5 in one of your home leagues. So take that value if it presents itself. All right, moving on to round 5, Travion Henderson is one of the more obvious breakouts this year. I know he's a rookie. I know he's on the Patriots, but did you watch his last preseason game? He had a 100-yard kickoff return touchdown, 100 yards. This dude has burners. He's just blazing speed, extremely explosive, and he had an 18-yard carry, and 3 receptions. The Patriots are going to utilize him like crazy this year. It feels like he could have a Devon Achane type of rookie season. Similar players. We know Henderson a little bit bigger, but Henderson is an explosive player with lightning speed, 4.4 40, 12 to 15 touch guy, right? He could be one of those guys who's hyper efficient, doesn't see a massive workload, but it doesn't matter, right? I think he's going to be a threat we know he's going to be a threat in the passing game. He's a special receiver out of the backfield. And Henderson led all running backs last year with 7.2 yards per carry. So yeah, he's going to fit that Achane mold. My basic rule of thumb when deciding what running backs to draft, if they're not the starter, take a look at the starter. Take a look at the veteran in front of him. And in this situation, there's a ton of question marks. Ramondre Stevenson, I don't think is a very good back. He fumbled 7 times last year. If he continues those antics up, fumbling, not being good at football, what do you think they're going to do? They spent a 2nd-round pick on Henderson. They're going to put him on the football field. I think once they see what they have in Travion, it's going to be really hard to take him off the field for Stevenson. So target players in backfields that have a lot of uncertainty like this one. I don't care that they paid Stevenson not that long ago. At the end of the day, New England wants to win football games, and I think Henderson is going to help them do that. Stevenson has only hurt them, at least last year, and Travion is the total opposite. He's very reliable. He proved that in college, 650 career touches, and did not lose one fumble. He's also an elite pass protector. Obviously, the Patriots want to protect their franchise quarterback in Drake May, so they're going to put the guy out there who can do that the best, and that will be Henderson. Those 2 things alone, you don't fumble, and you're good in pass pro as a rookie, is going to get him on the field immediately. A lot of the time, rookie running backs don't get on the field because they can't pass protect or they have fumbling issues. He's really good at not fumbling and pass protecting. He's going to get on the field, you guys. Trust me on that. And he's also a very explosive player. He was 2nd in yards after contact per attempt, behind only Genty last year. He's a do-it-all type of back. He had the highest explosive run rate among running backs last season. He's a home run hitter. We saw it in the first preseason game. Josh McDaniels, we know, comes back as offensive coordinator. He loves to throw the football to the running back. I think that Henderson could be a James White type of player who was under McDaniels years ago. I think Henderson could be better than what we saw from James White. So if you can't tell, I'm really excited about Travion. I think he's going to be really good this year. I think he could be the 2nd best rookie running back in the league behind Genty. So yeah, definitely draft him if you get the opportunity. But let's talk about another rookie running back that might not be the best, but I still really like him. In round 6, the guy you got to target is RJ Harvey. He could be this year's Bucky Irving. He was ultra productive in college, over 1,600 total yards and 17 touchdowns in 2023. And then he followed it up in 2024 with over 1,800 total yards, 25 touchdowns. He had 54 runs of 10 plus yards. That was only second to Ashton Genty. We know, handpicked by Sean Payton in round 2. True 3-down skill set type of player. He's also very explosive, elite vision, quickness. He's a guy that's dangerous with the ball in his hands. Do yourself a favor. After this video, go YouTube his highlights. He just moves differently on the football field. It's hard to explain, but when you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. He just has something different about him. He just seems like he's the best guy on the field, and I think that's going to translate over to the NFL. We know Peyton has a long history of feeding his running backs in the passing game, as his starting running back has never finished outside the top 10 in targets at the position. So Harvey is going to be that pass down back. Yes, J.K. I can't believe people are worried about J.K. Dobbins. Like, yeah, he was fine last year for the Chargers, but what happened? After the first couple games, he wore down. He was not efficient because he's had so many injuries. He's not that old. He's like 26, 27, but he's had so many injuries on his body that he just can't sustain a full season anymore. It's unfortunate, but everyone's like, oh, J.K. Dobbins is going to be... No. Okay, J.K. Dobbins might have a couple good weeks, but Harvey is a much better player, and it's going to be evident. If it's not in week 1, it's going to be evident in week 4, week 5. Harvey could be a league winner down the stretch when it matters the most, and this offensive line in Denver is really strong. All 5 starters returned this year, and they sported a 74.9% run block win rate in 2024, which was first among all offensive lines. It's a really good offensive line. This is a surging offense under Bo Nix, Sean Payton. I think it's going to be a really good overall nature ecosystem in Denver, and we'd like to see that, right? You want a running back, we just talked about, on a good offense, going to be in scoring position often, good offensive line, and then he's going to be a PPR machine. He's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. This is a guy that you can draft in round 6. I think he's an absolute steal at cost. He's my favorite running back to draft in this round. All right, moving on to round 7. It's Isaiah Pacheco for me, who is coming off a rough year, but it's really rare when you can draft a starting running back on a good offense in round 7. His ADP has obviously been suppressed after coming off last year where he broke his fibula in week 2. He rushed back 9 weeks later, which is insanely quick. Most players would probably be out for the year, and he clearly wasn't the same guy, rightfully so, and everyone's holding that against him. Recency bias is telling us that Pacheco just isn't a good player anymore, which simply isn't true. You guys, he rushed back from a horrible injury, and of course he didn't look like himself. What? Like, we know what Pacheco can do when he's healthy, though. 2023, over 1,100 total yards, 44 receptions, 9 touchdowns, RB14 in fantasy points per game. And last year, before getting injured, he was off to a scorching start. Week 1, 15.8 fantasy points. Week 2, 16 fantasy points. He had an 80% snap share and was averaging 21 opportunities and 4 targets per game. It's clear Kansas City, what do they want to do? Well, they're showing us with their actions what they want to do. They want to feed Pacheco like a bell cow, and they didn't add much of anything to this roster. Kareem Hunt, who's old and did not look great last year. Elijah Mitchell, who's always hurt. And a 7th-round rookie, Brashard Smith, who everyone thinks is going to be the next Tyreek Hill. They're like, oh, he's just... No. This is Pacheco's backfield. I'm not banking on a 7th-round rookie to eat much into his workload. Now Pacheco is healthy, ready to prove all the doubters wrong, along with get a new deal because he's in the final year of his contract. We know players, when they have a lot of money on the line, tend to be a little more motivated. They tend to perform a little bit better. Pacheco is a versatile back. He can do it on the ground. He can do it through the air. Who has top 12 upside at the position, is well within his range of outcomes. And this is a guy who could be the RB3 on your roster. There's not a lot of risk here. I think he's going to run for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, along with double-digit touchdowns. Take the value here and thank me later. All right, last section. We're not going to go rounds 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm just going to tell you from rounds 8 plus, the guys that I really like. Brian Robinson Jr., Jordan Mason, Zach Charbonnet. I love Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker is already hurt, you guys. I'm not drafting Kenneth Walker this year. Like, he's hurt every year, but he's already hurt in training camp when no one's touching him. What did someone I've read, like the best predictor of an injury is when someone's already hurt. Like, he's already hurt. So I love Charbonnet this year. In this system, I think Charbonnet's better than Kenneth Walker. He's a better overall running back. Draft Zach and just leave him on your bench. He'll be an RB1 for you at some point this season. I also really like Tajay Spears as a late round guy. He is hurt, so we don't love that. Hopefully it's not too serious, but Spears, I still do like his upside. I also like Woody Marks, the rookie running back for the Texans. Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon are there, but Mixon's already hurt. Nick Chubb is cooked at this point. I'm starting to come around on Jaylen Warren. I'm a little worried about what I've seen from Caleb Johnson. I know it was a small sample size in the preseason, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves on Caleb Johnson and forgetting how good Warren has been in his limited opportunities. Like, if Jalen can stay healthy, I think he could have a really big year in Pittsburgh. I like Bayshul Tootin, the rookie running back for the Jags. He's looked really good. Another player where the backfield has Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, like two average at best running backs. Take Tootin late, and he could end up being the RB1 on that team. I like Jaden Blue, rookie running back for the Cowboys. Another situation, Javonte Williams is the starter, right? So take Blue. He could have upside on a really good Dallas offense if Javonte gets hurt or just stinks at this point. I also really like Trey Benson, running back for the Cardinals. We know James Conner, older back, can't stay healthy for a full season. Hasn't done it, I believe, in his entire career. Trey Benson, really fun player, really fun young player that I think has a bright future in the league. Grab him really late. Kendre Miller, another young guy who's had injury issues for the Saints, but Alvin Kamara, older back. Like, Kendre Miller is such a fun player. It's been really unfortunate, his start in the NFL, because he's this big, fast, explosive running back that if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be really good. And then Ollie Gordon, rookie running back for the Dolphins. He's another fun player that you could take a flyer on and see what happens. So those are the running backs who I think you should be drafting in every single round, right? We summed up rounds 8+ right there, but those are the guys that I'm targeting. Make sure you subscribe. Please like this video. We're going to be obviously coming out with the wide receiver version. A lot more draft strategy videos to come, as I know you guys are going to be drafting soon. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, making it this far, and I'll see you in the next one.